I'm Joe Rothwell, and this is Getting to Know Me.
What are your earliest memories of football?
It'll be going with my dad probably to watch my older brother play. Yeah, just on the sideline there, watching him and just kicking the ball around really.
When did you start playing? When did you take it up yourself?
It's probably 4 or 5, yeah, so quite early. And then I got picked up when I was 6, and then yeah, that's where it all began for me.
Yeah, you of course went into the academy at Manchester United. What was that experience like, so young and obviously going through the age groups there?
Yeah, really good. Obviously when you're younger, you're getting, playing for someone like Man United, it was like a dream come true really. And then obviously as you start to progress through the age groups, it gets a bit more serious, and then as you get a bit older and to an age where obviously they're offering out the contracts and stuff like that, that's probably when you start to take it serious. And yeah, I was there for a long 15 years in the end, and then got to a time when it was time for me to move on and kind of forge my own career really.
What were maybe the biggest lessons you learned during that time? Because it was such a big chunk of your early career.
It's hard to say really. I loved playing football, so every day was an enjoyment for me to be able to go in, especially at a place like that. At the time they were winning every week, so it was such an enjoyable place to be. And as I say, as I got a bit older, it got a bit more serious, and then just came to a time when it was probably right for me to move on.
Did you always want to be a midfielder, or did you ever play anywhere else?
No, because I was always really small when I was younger, so I started out as a winger through the early days, and then probably when I got to around 15, 16, got moved more inside, and then, as I say, when it got a bit more serious, when I knew this was definitely what I wanted to do, that's kind of the position I was stuck to, and yeah, I've been a midfielder ever since then, really.
You mentioned your dad and your brother earlier. How big an influence were your family in your football career growing up?
The biggest, yeah. Obviously, my dad basically took me everywhere, travelled everywhere with me, and he was my biggest influence on my career, and to this day, still my biggest critic. But it's just how he'll always be, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
What has been the proudest moment for you so far?
It was playing at Wembley. And obviously over the last couple of years I've had a couple of promotions, so that's probably just topped it now. But I think last year's one was probably my proudest moment. Yeah.
Of all the clubs that you've been at, the leagues you've played in, how big an impact has each one had on you sitting here now with all those different experiences and the different learnings you've had in that time?
Yeah, everyone was different. Obviously I played, when I left United, dropped down to League One, and my aim, as I've said, was always to get back to the Premier League, and I had to do it step by step, League One to the champ, and then finally made it back to the Premier League. So every season and every manager I played under, it's stood me in really good stead, and hopefully obviously I can show that when I come here this year now.
Those back-to-back promotions that you touched on, how special were those seasons for you?
They're brilliant. Yeah, it's what you want. You want to win things as a footballer, and yeah, the first one, obviously under the manager at Southampton, was brilliant, and then to go to Leeds last year and do the full season there, it's moments that will live with me forever.
What advice would you give to a younger player now, or to your younger self?
Well, for me, it was always enjoy it. If I didn't enjoy it, then what's the point in doing it? So that was always my biggest thing: just enjoy it, listen to the staff or the coaches that you've got, and just take each day as it comes, really.
Just a few away from your career now, in terms of stadiums you've played in, or stadiums you maybe haven't played in but want to. What stadium would you like to play in that maybe you haven't before? Apart from Ibrox. You have played there though, haven't you?
Yeah, but not in front of a packed out one.
Sure.
So Ibrox is definitely up there.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm really looking forward to that first home game, or the first Champions League game, I should say. It'll be packed out, and it should be a brilliant atmosphere.
What's the favourite one you've played at so far?
Probably Tottenham's new one. Yeah, that has to be up there. Either that or the Arsenal one, either one of them.
What is your favourite cheat meal? What do you go to?
It'd be a Chinese, I think,
Okay.
of some sort. I'm not fussy on what it is, but
I was going to say, what's your order?
Yeah, anything. I'm not bothered.
What do you like to do away from football?
So if I'm not obviously spending time with my wife and kids, it'll be play a lot of golf, or as much of golf as I can. And I'm really into my Lego, so I build a lot of Lego. Especially last year when I was living on my own, away from the family, my apartment turned into a Lego store really. So Yeah, it was just something I started a few years ago, and it's just, it kind of takes me away from everything, and I can be there for hours just doing it.
Yeah, is it almost that release just away from football?
I think so, yeah, I think that's what it is, and I find it quite therapeutic in a weird way. But once I start, it's hard to put it down and stop.
Who's your best friend in football?
It was a lad I played with at Oxford called Alex MacDonald. Yeah, we always stay close, and he ended up being godfather to my kids. So yeah, he's my best friend in football.
Do you like to play any other sports? Have you played any other sports apart from golf? Obviously, you touched on, but did you?
I'll have a go at anything really. I'm quite a sporty person, but no, golf's always my go-to, and I think it always will be.
Yeah, and there's a few golfers in the squad here as well. I'm sure they'll get you involved in that. Have they
Yeah,
mentioned that already? Yeah.
So just need to figure out getting my clubs up here, and then we can have a game.
What music are you into? What do you listen to before a game?
Probably more house stuff, but then away from football, R&B, indie. I'm into everything, to be fair. But yeah, probably more so house stuff, I'd say.
And just lastly, what's your favourite TV show? What series do you like?
Entourage, my favourite ever one. So I've watched that a few times, to be fair, but it's always a go-to when I need to watch something. I can go back and just rewatch it.
Never watched it.
Never watched
No.
it? Oh, missing out.
I'll
So
add
good.
it to the list.
Yeah, you've got it.